Welcome to the PSA Dubai World Series Finals 2016. It's finals night here in downtown Dubai, in the shadow of the majestic Burj Khalifa and its spectacular fountains. Tonight marks the grand finale of a grippingly brutal World Series season. Let's remind ourselves how we got to this point and the unique format of the World Series Finals. The World Series events are the highest events on the PSA World Tour. Points are earned at the World Series events to form the PSA Road to Dubai standings. At the end of the season, the top men and women qualify for the PSA Dubai World Series Finals. The 8 men and women were drawn into 2 groups and played each other in a round-robin format, with the top 2 qualifying from each group for the semi-finals. England's Laura Mazzaro completed a clean sweep after 3 impressive performances to reach the last 4 full of confidence. Last night, she defeated current world champion and world number 1 Noor El Shabini to reach her 2nd World Series final. Egypt's Raneem El Walili looks back to her best with 3 wins to top Group B, and the former world number 1 is showing signs of form that took her to the top of the PSA World Rankings only last year. In her semi-final, she overcame 2-time World Series champion Nicole David to be the first female Egyptian to reach this stage of the competition. The tall Australian, Cameron the Pistol Pilley, was delighted to make it through the group stages on his World Series final debut, with wins over the highest-seeded Omar Mossad and Simon Rosner. His magnificent run continued in the semi-finals, shooting down the beast of Alexandra and world number 1, Mohamed El Shibagi. The French general, Gregory Gaultier, commanded Group B with 3 wins from 3, including victory over tonight's opponent, Cameron Pilley. His imperious form continued last night with a win over the Colombian cannonball, Miguel Angel Rodriguez. So with the finalists determined and the biggest prize in squash at stake, the stage is set for the season's grand finale.
Hello everyone and welcome to the PSA Dubai World Series Finals. You're joining us live from Burj Park in downtown Dubai. I'm Lee Drew, and joining me for the women's final is former world number 1 Vanessa Atkinson.
Hello Lee, hello everyone.
Well, it's been such an entertaining week so far. We've had some spectacular squash, and I'm pretty sure that the finals will prove no different. We've got the big hitting surprise package, Cameron Pistol Pilley up against the French general Gregory Gaultier in the men's final. Can Pilley get one more scalp to claim the title? And first up tonight will be Laura Mazzaro, the number 1 seed here. She is the world number 2, been in magnificent form, and she is up against Raneem El Walili, who looks back to her best. And that should be an entertaining matchup, that's for sure. Well, the atmosphere has been building for some time here. Everyone wants to see who is going to be crowned champion in the World Series final. So let's go to our MC, Adrian Davis, who's going to introduce the players.
Ladies and gentlemen, will you please welcome onto court number 4 seed, the first lady ever to be world number 1 in Egyptian sport, from Alexandria, the number 4 seed, Raneem El Walili. And Raneem's opponent, the number 1 seed, former world number 1, world champion from England, Laura Mazzaro.
So our women's final is between the 2 form players here all week. It's Laura Mazzaro, the number 1 seed for this event, up against the number 4 seed, Raneem El Walili of Egypt. Well, both players are on the court now, going through the final moments before preparation. We actually caught up with both players earlier, just before they practiced in preparation for this final.
Yeah, really excited. Feel like it's been a good week. Bit of a different setup for all the players, playing best of threes and having a pool match. So, preparing for 3 matches in a row, regardless of whether you're winning or losing, was something a bit different. But now we're in the final and it's a best of 5 again. So it's just like a normal tournament. So it's a bit of a change. But yeah, definitely looking forward to it.
So excited to be still competing in this great tournament. It's my first final in the World Series finals. And it's been a great tournament so far. Loving the atmosphere, loving the venue, loving the crowd. Yeah, it's the end of the season and I'm enjoying it.
Obviously, it's really hard to think about making up for the World Championships loss. It's pretty heartbreaking when you lose a final like that, but I feel like my level was good throughout the final and it's been pretty good since. And if I can go into an event and play some of my best squash, then I feel like that's really all I can ask of myself. And I feel like I've done that this week. I've just got one more match to try and perform at the best level that I can possibly play.
Well, she's obviously one of the best players ever. She's playing, I think, she's playing her best now at the moment. I've seen her play yesterday against Noor. She's moving so well and she's playing so well. She's very strong mentally, but I'm hoping I can break that tonight. I've been struggling with my mental strength a little bit this season. It's been all over, up and down. I think this was very clear at the Worlds, especially I was leading at so many games and I'd lose them in a second. I'd be down and I'd get back the score again. So yeah, the best of 3 has helped me a little bit, and I'm really hoping my mental strength can stay the same.
We've obviously both played in some pretty huge finals over our careers. So although it is a final that maybe Raneem hasn't played in, I'm not sure that it's going to make much difference to the result today. I think it'll just be, like I said, who can get the best performance out on the day, who can handle the situation of playing in a major final, and hopefully it'll just be a good match. If we can both play some good squash, it should be really high quality.
So both players there acknowledging the quality of their opponent, how well they're playing, and also the fact that the matches have changed from best of 3 to best of 5. How big a difference will that make?
Well, I mean, it certainly does make a difference. They've both adapted to the best of 3 format really well. But I think we really could be in for a great final here. Historically, these two have had some really epic battles, so all the ingredients are there for a great final.
They do have great matchups. She is seeded number 4, Raneem El-Walili. Her ranking's number 3 in the world. And of course, she won in Chicago at the Windy City Open in 2016, and that saw her get back to some kind of form similar to what had her at world number 1 back in 2015, where she actually dethroned Nicole David. It's had a bit of a stuttering sort of last 6 months since claiming the number 1 spot, but she certainly looks like she's hitting her best form again, and she'll be growing in confidence with each performance, and I think we'll start to see a consistent Raneem El-Walili on the PSA World Tour from here on in. And of course she will have to be consistent against Laura Massaro, sporting the pink dress. She's seeded number 1 for this event. Recently lost her number 1 ranking in the world to Noor El-Shabini, who she also lost to in the final of the World Championships, but managed to beat El-Shabini yesterday in the semi-finals with an imperious performance, really. She's hitting the ball hard, she's taking it early, and she's also looking physically very strong. She's very difficult to break down on the court. She has had 144 minutes on court, which is longer than El-Walili. She had a steady rise from 2007, her highest rankings that she achieved in each of those years, reaching number 3 in the end in 2011, and then from that point on she's made sure that she stayed up there in the top 3, and then of course 2016 January confirmed as world number 1. So final moments of preparation. These players have met numerous times on the PSA World Tour. Their last 5 meetings, Actually, Renima Walili leading it 3-2, but the last two victories going in favour of Laura Massaro, and of course very recently in Malaysia at the World Championships in the semi-finals, beating El Walili 3-2 in a tie-break in the end. I think it was a real epic battle between the two. If we get anything similar to that, that will be great. But a lot of 3-2s, 3-2s in their last 5 meetings. Final moment, Dani Massaro talking to Laura Massaro. There is Nour El Shabini, the world #1 and world champion. She'll be here supporting her compatriot. What do you think will be going on in the corners in the last few moments before they start?
Well, certainly in the Massaro corner, I think it'll all be about the game plan. I think we'll be seeing very similar tactics to the ones she employed against Nour El Shabini in that semi-final, really trying to rush El Walili, take time away so that she's not able to utilise all her skills. And I think for El Walili it'll be a little bit more about just getting herself mentally ready for the match. She's been very steady this week, something she struggled with in the past. So you know, hopefully they'll both play as well as they have been doing all week.
To receive best of 5 games.
So it's going to be Renima El Walili who starts off this women's final here at the PSA Dubai World Series Finals. Well, there's nothing to suggest that they're not going to play their best squash, because their form has been so good right the way through the event, hasn't it? You know, we talk about El Walili in the first match against El Shabini winning 2-love in a bit of a minor upset. Both games going to tie-break, showed her intent and form, and then Massaro has just looked on the money, hasn't she, right from the start.
Yeah, Massaro's looked incredibly sharp in every match, and we always expect her to be very tenacious, but something that I've really been impressed with from El Walili has been her fighting spirit. She's had a couple of tough battles in the groups. She had a really great match against Camille Serm, had to fight very hard to get through that one, and then again in the semi-final against Nicole Davids. That's good to see from El Walili. We know how skillful she is. She can take players apart, but having to battle her way through and come back from behind in games is something that I always like to see from El Walili, and a very good sign.
Yeah, I think so. I think one of the key signs of when her form dipped post-September, post-achieving that #1 spot in the world, was the fact that she was looking for early winners, quick winners, and maybe not really digging deep. And that's something that really has changed over the last few months.
Yeah, you could almost see her body language sort of start to go when she would get behind in matches, and the belief just didn't seem to be there. And that is certainly back in full force.
Do you think the best-of-5 format suits one player in particular, or much of a muchness?
Not necessarily. I don't think that will change much in terms of how well both players will play. That's obviously what they're used to playing, best-of-5. I think they both adapted really well to the best-of-3, actually. What it does mean is that they're both relatively fresh coming into this final, having only played best-of-3 so far in the tournament. Having said that, though, we didn't mention that the matches tended to be very high in intensity, didn't they, very early on because of that best-of-3 format. So they certainly weren't physically comfortable, let's put it that way.
No, I mean, I thought the intensity, I thought they were very physical matches.
I suppose it's just less time spent on court, though, isn't it, overall?
Yeah, it is less time, but you know, quite often when we're watching tournaments, there are sorts of matches around the 30-minute mark consistently, whereas here they've been playing back-to-back matches without any rest days, and they've been averaging more around the 40-minute mark. So, you know, I think they're still getting quite significant time into their legs and into their body throughout this event. And the other thing to talk about is the fact that the best players in the world are here. We've talked about how close the top 8 players in the world are.
Yeah, there was no easing in matches as they may have in other tournaments. I mean, obviously they have to be right on it from day one, but coming up against a top 8 player in the first round and then having to do that 5 times to win a tournament, that's tough.
Well, I have no doubt that Massaro is going to look to employ the same tactic against El Walili as she did against El Shabini. I think she has to, because you've got 2 shot players, and if she can, she needs to rush her opponent. She needs to force El Walili onto the back foot and then make her rush her shots. As soon as you give someone as clinical as El Walili time to make decisions, then it becomes a very difficult proposition.
And out, 3-4.
Well, that's certainly what she looks to be doing early on in this match, trying to keep the pace nice and high. She did execute that to absolute perfection against Shabini in the semi-final, because obviously the game plan can be in place, but a lot of it is also down to the execution, and she kept that ball running consistently tight as well as hitting very hard,
5-3.
getting herself up on the tee and moving very well. So there's a lot of things that have to be in place.
Massaro looking really sharp here,
6-3.
establishing a 3-point lead in this first game. Well, there we go. As soon as the tempo drops, El Walili can take her time, and she can use her hold and then start to wrong foot Massaro. When it's all going at a rate of knots, she's being rushed and she's not being able to do that. So I think we'll see a real contrast between the two. El Walili is going to look to slow the game down a bit, lift a bit, and then break the movement of Massaro. Massaro can't let that happen. She needs to keep pace going on in this. Walili thinking the ball's a double hit from Massaro.
Decision, Massaro, no X.
This has been the trend all week. Seen one player pull away and get the momentum, and as soon as that happens, the other one comes back and makes it so difficult and closes the gap so quickly.
A couple of really good rallies from El Walili, and you can just see that if the intensity drops ever so slightly from Massaro, that El Walili just takes over. You can really start to move Massaro into all 4 corners of the court, and
7-6.
Really important that Massaro doesn't allow that to happen for any length of time, because then physically it will start to get very tough.
Well, slightly fortunate from Massaro. Shame for El Walili, because she's been punished for the perfect width on that drive. I think what we will see happen is El Walili looking to slow the ball down into the corners, and then Massaro is going to have to look to inject pace through the power and the hit, because she won't be able to do it so much with her movement as she did yesterday.
Well, it's a lot harder for a player to continually hit the ball at pace if your opponent is mixing up the pace and using the lob and throwing in the high balls and then injecting pace as well. Physically demanding.
Well, the ball's going to go out. It's a good weighted shot from El Walili. She tucked up Massaro in that back right-hand corner.
Out, 8-7.
Wow. That's a positive response from Massaro.
Hand out, 8-all.
Massaro slotting that ball away on the cross-court volley, Nick.
Yeah, that's something that Massaro has started to bring into her game, going for the shot off serve. It really picks her moments well. Haven't seen it too much from her so far in this tournament.
Brute of a rally between these two. Yeah, wonderful stuff from El Walili. Slightly telegraphed on the drop shot from Massaro. She only had one option and it allowed El Walili to run onto the ball. And then of course as soon as El Walili has time, she can do that.
Decision, Walili. Yes, late. 9-8.
Really mixing up the pace as well. Also think that she's getting the better of the length battle in the back of the court. She's forcing the looser shot from Massaro, which is allowing El Walili to attack. So 2 game balls for El Walili.
Hand out, 9-10. Game ball.
Well, there is the Wolf, Nick Matthew, on the left of your screen, and Greg Gaultier looking very relaxed just before he'll go off and get prepared for his final. It'll be interesting. It's a good weighted shot.
Yes, let.
So yes, let at the end of a tense rally, another high quality rally.
Video review.
Yeah, I thought there might be a video review.
Video review
coming.
Walili on the yes, let.
It was a loose cross court from Massaro.
Just wonder whether El Walili is cleared sufficiently to allow Massaro through.
Yeah, I do think it probably is a let, but she's quite fortunate to get away with it, actually.
Well, the second bounce is dead in the back wall, but I think Massaro would look to cut it off before the back wall. I just think there's not quite enough room to allow her through. There's confirmation it's remained as a yes let.
Decision upheld. Walili has no
I think it was definitely
remaining.
worth a punt from El Walili.
9-10, game ball.
Still has game ball.
It's another epic first game. We've seen so many in this tournament, and we thought a lot of that was down to the intensity of the best of threes, but these players have just continued that on into the final.
Well, it's a powerful shot from El Walili. She's looking to inject pace with the drives. Ferocious stuff.
11-9. Game to Walili. Walili
So first blood to Raneem El Walili, taking that game 11-9 in 14 minutes. And she leads Laura Massaro by 1 game to love. Both Egyptian players, Omnia Abdelkawi and Nour El Shabini, in the corner of Raneem El Walili, giving her advice. I think she's getting a tactic spot on. She's mixing it up well. She's mixing the paces. She's hitting hard, which is making Massaro have to defend. And then she's buying herself time to actually execute clinically, as we know she can. So she's creating the moments for her to be able to hold and hit, I think.
Yeah, really clever play from El Walili. Exactly the right tactics would have served Shabini well in the semi-final.
It certainly has, and there's a bit of thinking to be done in the Laura Massaro corner, but that is something that she does very well herself.
Well, El Walili will be very pleased with that first game performance. She's not allowing herself to get dragged into that hard-hitting, fast-paced game that got Massaro into this final. Really mixing up the pace well, throwing up the high ball, giving herself time and opportunities to take the ball in short. Really making the court very big for Massaro, who is still playing very well and still moving well. It was a close game, so hopefully more of the same in the rest of this match.
El Walili looking very relaxed in her corner, listening
15 seconds
to what her compatriots and peers have to say. She has got it tactically spot on. Do you have a feeling with Laura Massaro, when she's getting the opportunities in at the front of the court, she's opting to hold quite a few times? And I don't think it's really helping her. I think she needs to get onto it and commit to it very quickly, because I think the hold is actually allowing El Walili to recover back into position. Whereas if Massaro gets on, and especially if she's going to hit long, I think she needs to get on quickly and hit early into the back corners. And the same with going into the front. Get it in nice and early and positively without the hold. If she's going to hold, then I think she's better off taking the ball in short rather than long.
Love all.
So it's El Walili who starts off the second game here in the women's final.
Decision Walili, stroke to Walili. 1-love.
Well, also something that I felt Nicole David did very well against El Walili in their semi-final was she really straightened up in that second game.
1-all.
Really tried to close down the options for El Walili, and then throwing in the odd cross-court and boast almost as a surprise, just to keep her on her toes, but getting a lot of reward from the straight play, and you can see that there from Massaro. El Walili covering the cross-court and a clean winner down the backhand side.
It was also an early ball, wasn't it? She got onto it, hit it, first thing, top of the bounce or on the rise. Wouldn't expect El Walili to miss that ball.
Well, it's also just so much less risky against a player like El Walili. If she does read the straight ball, there's just not a huge amount she can do as long as you keep that ball running tight along the side wall, whereas opening up the court against players like El Walili, unless it's absolutely spot on, you're going to be in trouble.
It was interesting, during practice this morning, Massaro practiced a lot of lobs from the front corner, and that will be because she'll be expecting accurate attacking shots and a lot of attacking shots from El Walili in this match.
Massaro opening up the court with the boast, and you have to make sure El Walili's well behind if you're going to open up the court like that.
Well, Walili not quite getting hold of that ball.
Hand out 4-2.
She was talking in an interview about the inconsistency and how she can actually be leading games and playing very well, and all of a sudden it just rattles away in a moment from her. And it's those kind of errors that she'll be talking about that she wants to cut out of her game, but she doesn't want to give those cheap points away from her opponent, well, to her opponent.
Yeah, it was interesting to see her mention that, actually, because we've obviously talked about it quite a lot, the fact that she's looked like she's been struggling mentally after she got to world #1, maybe with the pressure, but we haven't really heard her mention it or talk about it. So it's obviously something that she has been very aware of and been working on.
Yeah, I agree. Well, she's not silly, is she? We're talking about someone that's become the first female from Egypt to achieve a #1 spot in the world, and she'll be very switched on. She'll understand what's going on in her game, and she'll just be searching for ways to fix it. One thing that doesn't need fixing is the hold and little flick cross-court drop shot that she possesses.
Hand out 4-5. Down.
Well, again, the slightly looser drive from Massaro actually
6-4.
paying dividend, because it tucked up El Walili and made it a very difficult position to attack from.
A couple of errors on that backhand side in this game. It's such a strong area for El Walili, but can sometimes let her down. She does love taking the ball in short there, as you can see.
Again, another error, and she's given
7-4.
at least 3 points away there in the last 5 rallies, maybe. Oh, mercurial stuff.
There's the flip side.
Well, that's ridiculous skill and ability from El Walili.
Hand out 5-7.
Wonderful adaptation of the racket face. She's even looking in the other direction. Brilliant stuff. That's exactly why I love watching Raneem El Walili play.
Well, she'd made 3 errors on the backhand, but that didn't make her back off that attempt.
Oops. Perfect lob again from Walili. She's setting up a perfect platform. Well, this time it's Laura Massaro's turn to counterpunch in that front left. Here is the great Jahangir Khan.
Hand out 8-5.
Sitting next to PSA CEO Alex Goff.
Down.
Another error from El Walili. This will be frustrating her.
9-5.
Massaro digging deep, as we know she can. It's more on the volley that the errors are coming into the Walili backhand. Off the bounce, she's been pretty solid, I think.
Well, it's just amazing how many of the last few points have been decided by El Walili on that side.
This is a great shot from Massaro. She comes in very fast in a big lunge and then softens the ball right down through the hand. Very impressive. So 4 game balls for Massaro. Another error on the backhand volley from El Walili. She'll know what she needs to cut out, but solid performance from Massaro in that second game. So good response from Massaro, winning that game 11-6, and she's levelled this match at 1 game all. Well, I don't know what you thought, Vanessa, but it looked as though Massaro got more measured as she came out in that at the start of that second game. She started to concentrate on hitting targets more than simply playing fast, I thought.
Yeah, she did, and I do think she straightened up a lot. Wasn't opening up the court, wasn't giving away very many opportunities at all, and I think that does start to then frustrate El Walili, who made a whole string of errors.
Walili is the one that's got the thinking to do now.
Well, it was a great response from the English player, Laura Massaro, coming onto the court in that second game with a very positive attitude. She didn't do too much wrong in the first game, just a couple of minor adjustments, straightening up, a little bit more measured with her pace, and rewarded with a whole host of errors from El Walili, who really needs to cut down on those unforced errors, especially on that backhand side.
Yeah, well, we've seen that from Laura Massaro, that kind of response time and time again. She is so solid and makes herself very difficult to break down. And also did change tactically as well. Saw her get onto the ball early a few times, but equally became far more measured with her hitting, and she was placing the ball into corners, still injecting pace when the time was right, but I felt that she was really looking to get the ball into quality areas on the court and pick those areas, and as you pointed out, also straightening it up slightly to maybe tie El Walili down. But El Walili will be furious that she missed so many backhands.
Love all.
So Massaro starts off the third game here.
Well, we talk about the tactical awareness of Massaro a lot, and again, very much in evidence in that second game.
Oh, great skills from El Walili. She actually shaped, ready, as though she was maybe going to ask. And then from quite a big swing, was able to come down and soften the ball in, play the drop shot.
They are such different players, these two, aren't they? Which, and that contrast is what makes for such great matches.
Again, Massaro going straight. Walili looking to cover the cross court.
And out, 1-all.
Again, it was a nice exchange in the front of the court, though, that really put Massaro in the box seat.
I mean, that's such a big overcommitment there from El Walili, though, isn't it? To really just almost guess onto that cross court side. You really can't afford to do that. And she's got the speed in her legs to be able to cover both options.
2-1.
Yeah, solid stuff. Massaro questioning the ball, but I'm pretty sure it was in. I've been really impressed with El Walili's lift across from the backhand side onto that forehand. I think she's really tying Massaro down in that back right-hand corner. Well, you spoke about it at the start of the match, Vanessa, and that was another example of Massaro being able to turn a very defensive position where she was being moved all over the place into an attack and then actually win the point.
Yeah, she absorbs pressure very well. And her vastly improved movements obviously really helping her as well in that area. so important against a player like El Walili, who you must sometimes feel very much at the mercy of.
This may be a let ball.
Yes, mate.
Crowd clapping, but Massaro read that drop shot very early, and the quality wasn't good enough from El Walili for it not to be a let ball. Well, El Walili reading the straight ball that time. Read Massaro like a book on that occasion.
5-2.
Well, it's a good job she did, because the drop was quite high. Cross court would have been a winner.
How do you know? How do you sense where the opponent is, whether they're edging to the straight ball or the cross court? How did you use to tell?
Well, I suppose it's to do with body position and how they're shaping up. But then you get players, you know, like El Walili, who are capable of showing one shot and then playing another.
What about
make it very
picking the right
difficult
shot
to
to
make
hit,
those
though?
judgments.
What about picking the right shot to hit? You know, whether to choose the straight or the cross court. How do you sense where the opponent's lining up?
I suppose that's the instinct that you develop over the years of training and playing.
3-6.
And then obviously you get to know your opponents. You know, we talk about Cowie, for example, who tends to cover the cross court quite a lot, and it's really good to play straight from the front against her. And I think El Walili to a degree as well. She got that one right, but I think often the straight ball is really effective. If in doubt, throw up the lob.
What's another wonderful sort of cut drop shot
Hand out.
to finish that rally from El
7-3.
Walili. Been really impressive. She's really dominated this third game. Massaro looking to fire herself up.
Hand out. 4-7.
Just feel that El Walili is getting to spend quite a lot of time in the middle of the court during this game.
Decision Massaro. Yes, mate.
El Walili thought she'd hit a winner. My initial
Right
thought
box.
was that it was going to be a let
4-7.
ball. Perfect running drive from El Walili. Again, though, the court being opened up, wasn't it?
Hand out. 8-4.
So risky. A stroke for Massaro.
Stroke to Massaro.
She did so well to get the attack from El Walili back, let alone be able to hold and flick the ball across. See Massaro do that quite often. She holds and switches, looking to drop, and actually the drop goes quite high, but the player doesn't read it at all and overcommits. Massaro not ducking low enough. El Walili hitting her opponent.
Hand out. 9-5.
Well, two things you don't see too often. in that rally. There was a corkscrew in there somewhere, which you don't often see in finals.
Wssf, another winning shot, so she moves
10-5, game ball.
to within 1 point of this game. There it is, well finished by Wssf. Wssf re-establishing her lead, taking that game 11-5. And she now leads Laura Massaro by 2 games to 1. Well, that was a dominant display from Wssf in that third game. Really was all about the Egyptian player. Massaro started to look a bit tired at the end, and I think it was all down to the fact that Wssf was really controlling it.
She was. I mean, she made a lot of errors in that second game and almost lulling Massaro into a false sense of security and coming out and playing brilliantly in that third, really cutting out the errors. Massaro just lost her way ever so slightly, just opening up the court a bit more. Needs to get back to that tight, straight play that was containing Wssf in the second game.
She does. She also needs to put pressure on, though, with her hitting.
Great third game, though, from Wssf. Very similar to that first game, really controlling things on there, using great variations of pace and opening up a lot of opportunities for her to hit winners on both sides. Massaro just dropped in intensity, needs to get back to hitting those aggressive lines, straighten up slightly as well. But it's been a really interesting match so far.
It's just difficult to do, isn't it, when you've got Wssf hitting the quality that she is. She's getting the ball into corners and she's forcing Massaro to defend, and then from there, that platform, when someone's so good at attacking, you're then having to scramble to stay in it, and it's really hard if Wssf then isn't hitting the errors for you to actually win your points, isn't it?
Well, it isn't physically very demanding, but also, from Massaro's point of view, it requires huge amounts of discipline to be able to execute that game plan consistently, because as soon as she drops off even just marginally, Wssf can just put strings of points together.
Wssf leads 2 games to 1. Wssf to serve. Level.
So it's Wssf who starts off this fourth game.
Down. 1-0. Decision, Massaro.
A stroke. Massaro couldn't cross-court that ball.
Hand out, 1-1.
How much do you think Massaro's got left in the tank? Do you think she's physically up to coming straight back at Wssf here?
Yeah, I think she physically she's certainly capable of doing that. You know, a nice start would certainly help in this fourth game.
Down.
Well, there was a lot of purpose on that cross-court from Massaro. She hit it hard and it put Wssf under a lot of pressure on that backhand volley.
Well, I was just about to say that was something she did very well against Nour El Shebini in the semi-final. She was hitting quite a lot of cross-courts, but she was hitting so aggressively that they were always getting past Shebini.
Oh, it was the perfect lob. Wssf missing the ball on the first attempt, so you called for a strong start from Massaro, and she's got exactly that.
Well, she's up to pace here, hasn't she? She's got herself further up on the tee. She's hitting harder. Aggressive lines.
It's a wonderful shot from Wssf. Perfect weight of shot into the back of the court. Outright winner on the drive.
And out 2-4.
Yeah, clever from Massaro. Heart would have been in her mouth as she turned to see the ball quite close to her.
5-2.
But Wssf didn't read it.
A very good use of that down the middle shot. Needs to be used sparingly, but can come in very handy on a very tight ball in the front.
Nice kill from Wssf, just overhit by Massaro.
Hand out 3-5. Out.
There's a good low line from Massaro from a really difficult position.
6-3.
Well, that's wonderful stuff. Not sure how Massaro got the Wssf, and then she was able to read the cross court down the middle of the court. She's got to be so aware of you. Wssf, you give her anything, she will attack you.
Hand out 4-7.
You know what, Vanessa? I think since Massaro was using the cross-court volley return into the front, Wssf has actually started hitting the serve faster at Massaro to tuck her up and stop that cross-court volley nick attempt.
$5-7.
Wssf was committed to try and cut down the court and look for the early ball, but she expected Massaro to go straight.
5.
I think Matthew certainly looks as though he's enjoying either the squash or being on camera. Probably both.
Down.
Oh, that was a good opportunity for Massaro. She read the cross-court volley.
6-8.
No mistake from Wssf on that backhand attack. He's absolutely slotted this one.
Left box.
Such a balanced position, really using the strings in the shot. the ball skimmed. I think that hit the outline there, Vanessa. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Could well have done.
Well, it's not going to matter. Wssf had to commit there to try and cover the ball because it was loose.
Hand out, 9-7.
Very gutsy stuff here from Massaro in this game.
It's all about the volley this match at the moment because whoever's getting on the volley is dictating play.
Hand out, 8-9.
Well, that lead that Massaro had has been steadily disappearing over the last few rallies. Now just within 1 point.
Unlucky, I thought Wssf was going to get that ball back. Massaro getting onto the ball and taking it early
10-8
to the back, and she's
ball.
given herself 2 game balls. Well, Wssf movement all over the place. And somehow she's got a winner. And she was all over the shot there, Vanessa.
She was. Incredible court coverage. I mean, Massaro didn't do too much wrong, just maybe signalling that boast a little bit too much.
9-10, game ball.
Massaro still looking to be very positive. Could Wssf hit that ball?
Video decision.
Well, we're going to a video decision, so we're going to get some drama.
Good call by the ref. It's a close call and a very important point. Initially, I felt that maybe she could play it. It's difficult to see the exact distance between the two players there.
You're right, this is a big moment and it's a very wise decision to go to the video decision. Can she go forwards and play that? Is Massaro still in the swing when Wssf wants to hit? If she's still in the swing and the referee thinks she can't hit that, then it's going to be a stroke. Obviously, if they feel that they can hit it, then it's going to be a let ball. But I think it might be a stroke here, Vanessa, because I think she's still in her swing.
Yeah, I think she would have to shorten her back swing just ever so slightly.
There is confirmation of it. It's gone
Straight to Wssf.
in Wssf's favour there.
10-all. Left box. A player must win by 2 points. Each player has 1 video review available.
So we're going into a tie-break. There is Diego Maradona with Miguel Angel Rodriguez watching the squash.
Massaro's just been trying desperately to hang on to her lead here.
I'll tell you what though, Wssf is doing so well with her movement. She's making Massaro play an extra ball each time.
11-10, game ball.
Yeah, she's played the second half of this game incredibly well, Wssf, but did she get too far behind?
So it's another game ball for Massaro. Can she convert this time? best she can.
Game to Massaro, 2 games all.
So the crowd being treated to another fantastic spectacle. 12-10 for Massaro in the 4th, and we're level at 2 games all. Well, I almost thought that Massaro had missed her opportunity there. I thought at 10-8, she'd played the perfect rally, and she really let El Walili off the hook in that rally. And I thought the chance had gone, and when El Walili then played a couple of brilliant rallies to get herself back in, thought it was going to be the Egyptians' title, but you can never count Massaro out, can you?
Absolutely not. I think the tenacity of the English player really evidenced in that 4th game. She was hanging on for dear life. Got off to a really good start, but El Walili was looking really good as that game went on.
Well, there is Diego Maradona thoroughly enjoying the squash. I think he has played himself a bit. He's being entertained by Rodriguez, the Colombian cannonball.
Well, what a match we've got on our hands now. We hoped it would go the distance, and it certainly has done. It's been really high quality from both players. Very impressed with Massaro that she was able to hang on in that 4th game, because El Walili is playing brilliantly. Really controlling a lot of the rallies, but it's all down to the tenacity and the determination of the English player that has allowed this match to go to 5. And it is there for the taking for both players now.
Well, we really shouldn't be surprised that this has gone to 5, because it's actually the 8th time in the 14th meeting since 2012 that they've actually gone to 5 games. And
wow.
If you think about that, then you know the odds were that we were going to go to 5.
Really does make for a good matchup, these two, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Two games all, Massaro to serve. Level.
So this is Massaro starting off the deciding game here at the 2015-16 PSA Dubai World Series Finals. I mean, we talk about the start.
1 love.
All the time, don't we, and how crucial it is, but I mean, it is so important here to get some momentum early on.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, though, you questioned whether Massaro physically was going to be able to go the distance here, and I
never
feel
did,
like she's looking posed the question. She's looking really good, isn't she? Well, they both are, but Massaro has done a huge amount of work in this match.
Yes, lad.
She's looking just as fresh going into this 5th game, I feel, as she did at the start of the match.
So who's going to win the 5th?
I've got no idea.
That's why you're the expert. At least you're honest.
Well, I mean, how close has it been so far? There have been 2 games that have gone to a tie-break.
Decision Walili. Stroke to Walili. And out, 1-all. Down.
Well, the error from El Walili. She's still going for that shot.
And out.
She had the 3rd game where she was immaculate on the backhand, didn't miss a thing. But other than that, it's been slightly inconsistent.
Well, that's just been the difference, hasn't it? El Walili just been ever so slightly up and down. You know, when she's good, she's winning strings of points, really controlling things on there. Massaro's just been solid all the way through. Knows exactly what she wants to do on there. She's been very disciplined, physically looking great.
Wants that backhand again.
3-1.
Grimace from El Walili. She knows that could be so costly if she keeps doing it. Won't put her off. She'll still keep attacking that front left-hand corner.
Yeah.
Well, again, we mentioned how important the volley is, and in this game so far, it's Massaro that's stopping El Walili from volleying in good positions, and it's actually Massaro that's been able to execute from the middle of the court. Ball sat up from El Walili, and Massaro's absolutely ripped this ball in.
5-1.
I'm guessing that guy is waiting for Gaultier to play. Right, could that miss from Massaro reignite the El Walili challenge here?
2-5.
Well, we have seen that happen quite a few times, haven't we? An almost careless miss can suddenly just turn the momentum. Still a good lead, though.
I'm not sure El Walili read that one. Still a risky shot because Massaro was so far back in the court.
Yeah, she played that with much less pace on it than she usually plays the boast. It just drags the opponent into that front corner. Just clipping the tin that time.
And out, 6-3.
Few errors creeping in this fifth game. Bit of nerves maybe, bit of tension in the arm.
Ball sitting up from El Walili into that front left-hand corner. It's not been her friend in this game.
7-3.
So this is starting to become a significant lead that will be very hard to claw back for Massaro. Yeah, clever play. The accuracy gone from El Walili's hitting, and she's being picked off because of it.
8-3.
Too much time there, isn't it, for a player of Massaro's quality. Almost turned into an Egyptian player then by saying El Massaro.
And out, 4-8.
Oh, she's missed the error. She's actually hit the tin there with that volley. Glorious opportunity for El Walili.
9-4.
Well, it's the fourth or fifth unforced error from El Walili in this fifth game. Can't afford to do that. Certainly not against a player like Massaro.
Well, I thought that was going to sort of get her back into it. She'd have made that. Delicate little angle from El Walili.
It's that slower paced boast.
And Massaro didn't even see it, did she?
And out, 5-9.
The crowd trying to get back behind their hero here. Probably hoping for a tie-break in the fifth. Well, the ball's been called out. El Walili thinks it's in.
I thought that touched the line, I have to say.
The line.
El Walili's gutted.
And out. 10-5.
Look at the determination on that face.
What in that face? So, championship point for Laura Massaro.
Down,
Well, there it is.
11-5.
The error from El Walili, and Laura Massaro's done it.
Championship to Massaro, 3 games to 2.
Well, El Walili not able to regroup after the disappointment of the ball being called out. Big, monumentous effort from Laura Massaro. Been so consistent throughout this week. She's done it. There is confirmation. Laura Massaro beating Raneem El Walili 3-2 in 62 minutes. So the final moments of
Ladies
this
and
match, it
gentlemen.
came from an error from El Walili, which is unfortunate, but Massaro won't mind. This is the moment that confirms her as the 2015-2016 PSA Dubai World Series champion. And that is exactly what it means to her. Well, we're going to go and hear from our champion, and she's talking to Adrian Davis courtside.
Laura, you were put into every corner of that court. High, low, all over the place. You stuck to your plan, and it worked.
For the majority of it, I never really feel like you have a plan when you play Raneem. I feel like it's all whether she's on fire or not, and I'm just trying to run around and keep the ball back in play. I'm so pleased with my form all week. You know, like I said yesterday, it was really tough coming off the back of a loss in the World Championships, and it was a big effort to keep training after that. And I'm just so pleased that it's played off. Like, you go through so much pain and hard work as a squash player, and moments like this make it all worth it. So,
On that point, ladies and gentlemen, you might not know this, about 12 to 14 months ago, Laura asked herself if she'd played long enough. She was thinking about finishing the sport, some deep soul searching. She didn't finish, and here she is, having just won the PSA Dubai World Series. Do you think you made the right decision?
yeah, probably. You know, I said this yesterday, but it's been a privilege to play here all week. We feel a little bit like superstars. We've been spoiled. The court's amazing, the venue's amazing, Dubai's amazing, and you know, to have equal prize money for the women and to be on a level par with the men and in these big events now is just, you know, I mean, the women feel like we deserve it, and I hope that today showed that we do.
So, Afterwards, there's a party. Spectators are able to buy tickets for the after party. Yeah, you'll be at the party. Might you be celebrating a little bit with your husband, Danny?
Might just be celebrating a little bit. Probably over a few people, a few drinks. So yeah, can't wait. I mean, actually, after the fourth game, I sat there and went. I told myself before the match it was the final match of the whole season, and coming on for that fifth game, I just told myself it was one game to end the season, and there's a big reward at the end of it. So I'm really happy that it came off.
Laura, we can see what it means to you. We've seen behind the scenes. You've been fantastic with everybody. We know you love Dubai, but Dubai loves you. Ladies and gentlemen, your World Series Finals, PSA Dubai, Laura Massaro.
Well, Laura Massaro absolutely delighted to be able to close out and finish the season with that victory. And she mentioned about how hard it is to keep training on through to this point, but she obviously did it well.
Well, it's just that professionalism that we've talked about again and again with Laura Massaro. You know, her approach to the game, and it was on full display, really, wasn't it, in that match? So disciplined with her game plan, and all that hard work that she's put in paid off as well, able to physically get through the season and then finish on a high.
I think Danny Massaro is just as happy in that corner, if not more so, I would say. But he should be proud of Laura Massaro's performance. She had to dig deep right the way through, and she also had to deal with some unbelievable squash being played by El Walili.
Absolutely. I mean, El Walili, when she's playing well, she is a sight to behold, and must be an absolute nightmare to deal with on court. She's been very good all week and was very good in the final as well, but just a little bit more inconsistent. Didn't play a good fifth game, and that was what it was all about in the end, just the solidity of Laura Massaro.
Well, she's going off to go through the media work that she has to do. I'm sure there'll be lots of people that will want to speak to Massaro. So after a 5-game thriller, it is Laura Massaro who is confirmed as our 2015-2016 Women's PSA Dubai World Series champion.